Okay, if you want to start a business in the US, you want to first of all, of course, look at what visa options are available to you. And I'd say there are two visa types that could apply depending on the nature of the business. So if you've got a business that's already operating and running in the US, you might want to look at an L1 visa. So an L1 is the intercompany transferee visa. So if you've got someone running a UK operation and wants to set up a subsidiary or an affiliate office in the US, the L1 could apply in that scenario. You'd have to show that the business has been set up, has incorporated in the US, has a taxpayer ID number, has a bank account, and is otherwise in a position to operate. It would then potentially allow for an individual who works for the company to transfer to that US office. Now, there are some restrictions in that the initial visa would be granted for a 1-year period if the business in the US has only been operating for under 1 year. The other restrictions are that generally the US is scrutinizing the L1 quite closely. So even if it looks like everything is in place for that business, there could be questions about the viability of the UK operations as the US operation builds up, because there's a requirement that the UK operation, the overseas business, carry on operating even while the US business is operating. So the other option that we look closely at is the E2 visa option. And that could apply to a company that's already operating outside of the US or has never operated. And it could be a new business that investors want to set up or executives want to set up in the US. There's a lot more flexibility with an E2 visa in that there's no requirement that the overseas office carry on operating. In fact, there's no requirement that there even be an overseas office. And when setting up in the US, if the visa is approved, it could be granted for up to 5 years initially and could be extended indefinitely. Whereas an L1 visa, there's a maximum number of years of 7 years for a manager and 5 years for a specialist. So you'd want to look at what visa options are available, and I would say the E and the L would be the two key visa options. And then you need to look closely at what's required for each visa. You also want to look at establishing a strong business plan as part of the visa process, having projections, at least 5-year business projections, and you want to look at what kind of jobs are going to be created. And that all forms part of the immigration presentation that you make to the embassy to get a visa approved. So there are a number of things to consider when looking to set up in the US, and we can help with all aspects and all facets of the process.